Hello, lovely listeners, and good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to One Harmonic Whole.
With Kim and Jill.
Sit back and enjoy today's message.
And we're back.
We are back. All right, back to timelessness.
Yeah.
Huh. So, what's coming through on this is, when did we lose timelessness? When did we actually lose it? When did it become lost?
Now, I know you're asking, like, in terms, I think you're asking anyway, in terms of, like, when did humanity lose timelessness? I am not exactly sure, but I know when I personally lost it.
When did you lose it?
When I had to go to school.
Oh, yes. Oh, yep.
So, about 5 years old, 5, 6, because of my life prior to that, I was not in daycare and all this kind of stuff. I just wasn't. My mom was home with us when we were little, and I was literally in timelessness until I went to school. And then guess what started happening to me, Kim?
You started getting sick.
What?
Yeah.
I started getting headaches.
Good figure. Yeah.
And getting sick and different things.
Yeah.
And so I would suspect that little story possibly points to, like, when did we, like, big times get out of timelessness, which is funny. When did we big time get out of timelessness?
Right?
Probably around the time that a whole lot of humanity started getting sick.
Yep. And when I have, what do you want to call it, channeled, let my mind just open up into the etheric realm, the energy realm of Earth. And whether you believe in past lives or not, I don't even know what's past life, just the essence. There we go. The essence of formulation of Earth. And anybody can literally tap into this stuff. But if you go there, there was not wars, there was not dictatorship, there was not this you need to do it my way because my way is the best. It wasn't anything like that. There wasn't this structured plan like we eat at 12 o'clock every single day. We eat at 12, noon, 5, there was not any of that. It was energy based. Everything was in the flow. If you were hungry, you ate. If you're not hungry, you didn't eat. You might have been like hunting. You might have been like doing some other things, but you were in alignment with the essence, this flow of what Earth actually provided for you. Everything has been always provided on Earth for humans and all other species. There's always been a balance that's been here. And like you look at, there's nocturnal animals, and they survive beautifully in the nocturnal realm. That is their essence. They honor that. They live with that. Animals are very, very smart. We all know this. It's like, when did humans become dumb?
She's dropping truths today. Yeah, and I think that if I may say, I believe that the dumb is that we disconnected ourselves from an intelligence that guides us.
Yeah.
We're still intelligent in every way possible, but when we disconnect from it, we do act and become dumb.
Yeah.
I mean,
truly, in internal instinct, you lose your intuition, you lose your truth. So when you're in timelessness as a child,
right,
you think of that intuition. You pay attention to any kid that's in a timeless zone, their imagination is like open and their intuitive skills is just like amazing. You're like, wow, look, they just said this. And it's like, so that's exactly what happened. Or they just able to see somebody on the other side, like grandpa, and they've never met grandpa. And because they're not in this constructed time.
Yeah. And I would like to share too, there's some people who won't want to release time. And that is perfectly okay. This is the other thing about this. It's like, not everyone is being asked to go into the flow only. It's that those who are, say, thriving by it, like the child that you just spoke of, is you described a child who's thriving in the flow. That child is to be in the flow. For a child who needs more structure,
Yep.
and schedule, then the system and the time is working. But that is also a form of flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flow that works for that person. I believe that the natural world is so intelligently organized, and humans can be as intelligently organized if we would engage it, that if we engaged timelessness and flow based on what has us thriving.
Yep.
Personally, I believe the world would be balanced and things would work out. We'd have the people who need to, say, show up at a medical clinic. People want to be able to predict some sort of hours of accessibility or whatever. We'd have people who are comfortable and thriving the best knowing a time schedule.
Yep.
And then the people that aren't doing that. They're doing whatever other flow works for them.
Yep.
But right now we've taken a standard and applied it to everyone. And there's a lot of people that are fighting against it, trying to tear and burn the whole thing down. There's others that aren't. It's kind of sad. It has me a little sad how much fighting and arguing there is going on when we're really naturally and intelligently meant to be much more in thriving, much more in, yes, yesterday's podcast, Kim, you talked about a time frame where people were in a flow, but it was greater than just even the time. They were happy. They were thriving. They were fully experiencing life.
They were not needing to run to, say, the clinics. They were not needing to run to the hospitals because they were trusting their own intuition. They're trusting their own instincts as to when they need to do stuff. So then their body, the energy was more calm, more relaxed, and they were not getting sick. It's pretty amazing when you're in that flow. I love the way you're talking about, though, there is a realistic version of why time did exist, why it did become. Like there's an honor and a respect to the clock ticking and the dates on the calendar. There is some honor and respect that needs to be occurred there. There's a reason why that came up too in our lifetime, in our earthly time.
Yeah, exactly. And then also like just time in terms of, I can look at when I was born, when I was a child, and who I am now. And clearly there's been changes.
Yep.
Over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So asking where do I want to go from here? I'm going back to the timelessness prior. Just being in the flow, being in the immersive energy of timelessness without thinking of trauma, without thinking of, okay, mentioned this earlier. Jill, you have brought up when you first thought of timelessness initially you thought of with your mom. You get a call and your mom's going into the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a moment when you were just being. There was nothing else in the world that was literally happening around you. You were just like immersed in that vibration.
Yeah. I love that word you're using, immersed.
Yeah. And there's a beautiful moment actually of time as to like, what are you going to do in that timeless energy? And that's the first thing that you brought up when you thought of timelessness was something that was actually traumatic. And that's what most people are still associating timelessness with.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we were taught back in the day, but that's what we've been ingrained to believe or trust. Like when you're in timelessness, that's when something bad has happened. You go back to that time and you remember, You're like,
because this definition someone used too is like, maybe a car accident, again, drama. Like, everything does disappear when something like that happens. But time also disappears when we're thriving and when we're in joy. Like, and time doesn't even call it disappear or not in timelessness. Like time actually does have an ebb and a flow to it.
Yes.
It isn't one single thing. I understand the breakdown of the clock and the ticking away of seconds. I'm not going to dispute that. But I am going to say that when you're doing something that you absolutely love, time can fly.
Yeah. Yes.
When you're doing something that you don't love, you feel like the clock is going backwards.
Oh my goodness.
So there is an experience with time that we have. So time is what it is. And I think, Kim, what we're talking about is the experience with time. Yeah. And you called it immersive.
Yep.
I love that. We're being immersed in the timelessness aspect of it. That's what we're talking about anyway, is inviting that, I think.
Yep.
Would be a nice thing.
Yep. So in each moment, in each second, in each breath, we all know breaths are very, very powerful. But in that moment, in that now period, you are immersed in timelessness. Okay. There's no clock ticking around you. There's no calendar. You are literally being in your essence. You're immersed in it, in that split moment of time. It's timeless. What are you going to do with that energy? When are you going to, you're going to just breathe. Are you going to, they show me my eyes like adjusting and focusing on what my truth is. Like taking that moment to like realign, readjust, like what is my truth? What is my belief? Do I really need food in this moment? Am I truly hungry, or is my body saying something different? So it's literally opening up your intuition when we become timeless.
That's interesting. Well, immersive experience of timelessness while you are simultaneously walking through time. And that kind of is the paradox of what we live in right now.
Yep.
And it's just be entertained by it as best that you can. And when you get swept away in time, it's okay. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm really in time right now. Like, don't beat yourself up over that, or like, oh, I need to be in time. No, it's none of that.
Right.
It's just a soft awareness like, oh, okay, I really got swept away in time. I've heard that described as having a very powerful, a very strong, a very open willingness to experience what's coming.
Yeah.
And Kim, with you here, I would say to experience it without judgment. That's what the willingness is. And the more and more we do that, the more and more we work our way into the flow, regardless of if we understand time or timelessness or not.
Yeah.
Timelessness or not. But the immersive experience of life.
Let's keep flowing with that.
We'll flow on that one next. We'll wrap this particular episode up for now, and
stay tuned for tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Kim and Jill with One Harmonic Whole Dailies podcast.
Yeah. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, anything that you can get our podcast out there. Share with a friend today. Somebody needs this message.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening. Yeah.